Welcome to Spainguru. Today I am going to interview Ruchika from Los Angeles, who secured her Spanish Non Lucrative Visa in record time. We'll cover the entire process, including documentation, health insurance, medical certificate, translation, and most importantly, her tips to help you apply for this visa and ensure a smooth process. Let's dive in. Could you introduce yourself and share where you applied for the Non Lucrative Visa?
Sure. So I'm Ruchika C. I am from California, and I applied for the NLV non-lucrative visa from the Los Angeles Consulate because I lived an hour away. So I qualified for my Los Angeles rather than San Francisco.
April 2024.
Yes, yes,
That is only 3 months ago. And you are
yes.
already in Seville.
I got my approval in 2 weeks, and then I booked my ticket, and I came a month later.
Amazing. A true success story.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so what initially prompted you to apply for the NLV?
So I actually came to Spain 2 months last year, November through January, and I started in Barcelona, Zaragoza, Madrid. I had been to Spain 4 years ago, only Madrid, and I knew I wanted to come back and explore. So as I was exploring Valencia, when I hit Sevilla back in December, the minute I landed, I said, "This is the place." So I knew what I wanted. I figured out the city that I liked. So then after that, it was just spending my time here a month. I had to go back because I was still working at that time. And then as soon as I landed, I had started looking at Facebook groups. I was already part of a lot of Facebook groups, but then I
Mhm.
joined new ones like this one where you were posting so many responses, and it helped me the most. So that's
Oh,
my
thank you so
journey.
much. Well,
Yeah.
I actually what you did is I think the best, and I always recommend that doing like scouting trip. Some people
Yes.
just, want to do the visa and then come to Spain, and
Oh,
maybe, there's something that, doesn't fit, or it's not exactly
yeah.
what they expected. So actually what you did is I think it's the most logical thing to do before taking such a big decision of moving to a new country, right?
Yeah, thank you. Because 4 years ago, when I was in Madrid, I loved Madrid. This time when I came, I was like, no, no, no way. No way, I will never, because it's too big. 4 years ago, I was still younger. I was in a vacation mode. Now that I'm living, I have to be practical. Madrid was just too big for me, just too complicated. I'm not a big city person. So it was nice. And Sevilla was never on my original list. But because I don't know how I somehow, after Valencia, I was even more disappointed. I picked Sevilla, and it just kept getting better and better.
What were the most important documents required for your non-lucrative visa application?
Okay, so the list that you provide with all the links, and then there's also Facebook people, like they provide lists too. But your list was perfect, and I bookmarked every web page. I bookmarked everything. And where do I get started? I might be off the order, but definitely okay. Besides the forms, there's 3 forms that you have to fill out online or download and fill out. That are the actual passport form, and I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Then personal documents you need for the NLV are your financial forms, um, which was where you had to show where your money is, whichever bank account, all that stuff, however you can prove. So it was the financial forms, a copy of my every single page of my copy of my passport, affidavit. My biggest nervousness was my age, that I would get rejected the NLV. I'm too young to retire. So I was really nervous about
You,
that.
you were
But
still
they
working at the time of application?
Yeah, but I had already had a conversation with my company that I'm going to take a year sabbatical.
Okay.
So I'm not working now, right? So that was the whole idea, that take a sabbatical, go figure out life, and
Mm-hmm.
then decide while I'm here if I want to stay permanently or what I'm going to do. I'm blessed financially. I have enough money so I can continue as NLV, but if I don't want to, then we'll see. Didn't think that much forward, just came.
No,
So
but
I
it's,
took a
it's
year.
super important because a lot of people are already retired, and it's very
Yeah,
straightforward, the NLV
yeah,
application. But for the ones who are still working and maybe
yeah,
they want to, not quit unless
yeah,
they get their visa, logically, right?
yeah, yeah,
So for
yeah,
those ones, people are a bit scared because they heard so many like horror stories about like not providing the right affidavit or the right
yeah.
documentation, or like there are like consulates that are more strict than others, like, and Los Angeles, it's among the strict ones. right?
Oh,
So in
really?
your case, I wanted to ask you, like, what
Yeah.
did you provide to the consulate to promise that you were not going to be working, or
Like I said, I had seen one of the links that I don't remember if it was on your link or in a Facebook group chat, that this link with this user or person had been through the whole experience and they shared samples,
yeah,
and another person had used that sample. So that's what I did. I went to saw that Word document, and then I personalized it and that affidavit, and then I translated it, apostilled it, not apostle, sorry. What is that word where
you
you get it?
notarize it?
Notarized. I notarized it. So I did everything properly. And that's what it says. One of the things says I will not work while I'm here. I have a business account back home. I'm also not getting any business done. So I also shared that hey, I won't be conducting any business. And this is where, so it worked for me. Like I said, I think most important was translation and the notarization of it. Mhm.
Which was the document that took you more time to get, and
Believe
that
it or
probably
not,
you would recommend to start with?
the background check, which is funny because I did it, the fingerprinting. I did it through my local police department, sheriff's department, which was allowed. However, they messed up, and twice they messed up. Yes. So the
Oh my
first
God.
time I go, I do it, I pay for it. They had never heard of it before, so I think that's the problem. They never knew what I was doing. They submit it. I get an email from the state of California saying, we can't mail you this. I said, why? What happened? They said, well, they put the wrong address, or they checked off the wrong box in the form, the police form.
Mm.
So what are my options? I go back, and this is, by then my appointment was set. Every other document was ready. This was the law, because it still had to be apostilled too after I get it. So that's where I was most nervous.
So
I
it
go
is
back to them.
FBI background check with federal apostille, right?
Yes, exactly. And then translation, and that's like the most complicated form in my piece, in my opinion.
And how long did it take you, like the whole process? Let's say, just to make it clear, took you, the preparation phase and documentation phase, appointment, and visa approval.
Preparation, I did a lot before too, but I would say about 2 months.
Okay, and
Ideally.
then you started trying to get the appointment. This is something also I
Oh,
want
I
to
got
ask
the
you.
appointment within the 2 months. Okay, my story is even funnier. This is interesting how, so it was early March, or yeah, I got back end of January. February, I'm recovering, still thinking I'm gonna do this, reading a lot of watching YouTube, reading a lot of Facebook. I hadn't started the process yet, looking at all the options because I was still thinking, what are my options?
I hope you watched some of Spainguru's YouTube videos.
I did. That's what I was gonna say, actually, step
More
by
than
step.
200 about the non-lucrative visa. So probably you
Yes,
couldn't miss one of
I did.
them.
I think I watched one of your more recent ones too, the live ones. I don't remember. I was invited to that and I watched it and I was like, yep, he's right. So then in March, I somehow one end of March or middle of March, I went online to the consulate appointment for Los Angeles. And the appointment I picked, I was lucky, I got it. It was only with 2 weeks away. And I hadn't even started anything yet. No
Yeah.
background, nothing. So my mind was like, oh my God, how am I gonna do it? I actually looked into hiring somebody to do it. So I had one meeting for that, but the cost was not great. It was too much, too expensive.
So it's one of the requirements, unofficial requirements, is to join Spainguru's Facebook group, because it's
Yes,
fresh experiences from people who are just doing it everything and right now, and requirements change all the time, situations change. Especially in Los Angeles Consulate right now, there is like happening a migration to an outsourced service. It still didn't happen yet, but soon it's gonna be through an outsourcing service called BLS that most of the consulates in the US and in the UK, for instance, are already using it. So you have to be really updated, and for that, being part of a community is extremely important, in my opinion. Can I ask you how you chose your health insurance?
Sure, and that's something I would like to comment on because I didn't do enough homework. I booked it really last minute. So again, in one of your link, you give us 4 links, I believe, to different insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to make sure which covers in your area. So I reached out to 2 of them because one of them, a lot of people commented that they like this company. So I reached out to them, one of them. And the other one I reached out to was honest, I said, I'm gonna live in Andalucía, Sevilla. No, we don't cover that area. So that was good. The other one, and this is, I waited too long. So also don't wait too long. I did this last minute. It was a holiday here, which I did not know. I reached out to an agent like last minute, and she goes April 1st or March something, the Good Friday before. I forgot. It was a holiday, and I was supposed to fly out, and I needed this insurance, blah, blah, blah. No, my appointment. Before my appointment, now I remember. And she was great agent that she did everything overnight for me, even on her day off, and I paid for it, and I got it in time to print it out and take it to the consulate.
Now let's talk about the medical certificate. How did you get one?
I got lucky again because I think it's in your page or another link in your page, where I just did an affidavit. I did an affidavit, copied somebody's text, wrote the same thing.
It was a template. It was a template from in Spanish and English, right?
I believe so. Yes. And my doctor agreed to it.
Yeah.
And so I emailed it to him, and just to get him to print it on his template, his
like letterhead and signature.
Yeah, letterhead. Thank you, letterhead. And I am blessed. I don't have any complicated health issues, so I think that's why he's agreed. No problem. And then I had that notarized also.
What tips can you offer for navigating the appointment and interview process at the consulate?
Appointments, your post says directly where to go and what kind of appointment to look for, so that was really important. And then I knew I knew exactly which embassy to go to, so for me, no complication. LA consulate, so opening the link was easy. Keep in mind, some days it's not working. Some days you have to refresh or wait a little bit later. I don't know why, especially at night, it's not the best. I would do it during the day. But click on the link, follow your steps, where to get the appointment, look at the calendar. And the calendar is not pretty either, it's confusing.
Yeah.
But I'm in IT, I come from IT, so I'm a little bit more patient with websites, and I kind of know how they work. So that's where I had the upper hand. I didn't give up easily. I know I kept trying, and I got lucky.
It definitely helps you to be a hacker, to get your Spanish visas.
Not a hacker yet, just know more about websites and what to expect. Not to panic if some page doesn't load. I know what the issue is, all that stuff.
Well, the interview itself, when you went to the consulate and you sat down with the civil servant that took your documents, how was it?
It was 5 minutes. I got so lucky. I can't tell you how lucky. Driving to Los Angeles took me an hour and a half. Parking down the street, going there, nervous, packet full of papers. I get there, she looks, starts putting this, gives me back a lot of papers. Apparently they don't need every page of the passport. This, and she goes, okay, I hadn't gotten my the background. It was a parcel, but it wasn't translated. She gives that back to me. She goes, when you come pick up your passport, I need this apostle. So I am very lucky. I don't know if posting this in the video is gonna make everybody else really hopeful, but
this is rule number one. It depends who you're talking to with Spanish bureaucracy. You can be talking to an angel or to a demon.
I think there was one more couple before me, but another person took them. Then my turn, I go, and then I took out my big folder with all the documents. I start giving, and then whatever she needs, I missed something, she asked me, I look for it, I find it. Like I said, there wasn't much questions. It was more about the papers.
Were there any financial requirements or proofs you had to meet, and how did you handle that?
I did. I went to my bank and had them print out some things and have it notarized. And they were a little nervous to notarize it, but they did. And I think that worked out fine too. And I personally, I think I overshowed because I was just so nervous. So I showed them all my statements, or I have different accounts, different account types. I have my stock market and Roth and IRA stuff, which is a lot more than the actual meeting 30,000 requirement. I have a lot of savings in that. So that, and then I also showed them my business account to show that, look, monthly I get $50 only as one of my projects that I finished, loyalty, but that's all I get. So just to show, I was just so nervous. I wanted to show them I'm not hiding anything.
Were you required to prove your accommodation in Spain?
No, I was not. I had not booked my place yet, and I was looking at Airbnb, but they did not ask, and I did not show anything, so I was not.
They just asked you where you plan to move, maybe,
and I had said Sevilla. That they did ask me. You're right.
Did you use the services of a lawyer or a consultant, and or did you manage everything on your own?
I had one free call or meeting with a lawyer, but the cost was too expensive. So then I started in doing it all on my own. And
Do you
thanks to your
remember how
Facebook,
much were you quoted?
I think $4,000, three to four
Four
thousand
thousand
dollars.
dollars.
Yes, yes.
But you
And
didn't.
and this person was very like, oh, it's gonna be really hard for you to get it. The appointments, this. I managed this, but the amount was just way over my budget. So I said no.
But you didn't decide to shop around and maybe ask other lawyers, other companies, or anything?
No, because thanks again all to your Facebook groups and the people are so nice and so helpful that it just a lot of people said, don't worry about the lawyer, you can do this. So that helped me. So yes.
Okay. What would you have done differently in your application process, knowing what you know now?
Don't print every single thing, but at the same time, I think it depends on the consulate and their mood and the person you get assigned. So that's something I overdid. I overprinted, over complicated. Apparently, I had read 6 months bank statement, 6 months. No, everything is 3 months. Passport
It
pages.
really depends on the consulate what they're asking. Sometimes
Exactly.
it's 3, 6, 12.
Exactly. So that's the kind of area I feel like it's never predictable. You'll never know. So better safe than sorry. I overdid it, and I will not. I'm happy I overdid it rather than under.
It's no, at Spainguru, you can use legal help or do it yourself. Like you can
Yeah.
find all that in Spainguru, as you say, in the community, people who are doing it, or in the content that we produce. There's nothing that stops you from doing it yourself. But if you feel better doing it with legal
Yeah.
help, it's also possible. I recently ran a poll, and it was actually 50-50, 80 votes total. 40 people went with legal help
Yeah.
and 40 people without. And then I asked, were you happy with your legal help? Like, was it worth the investment? And between 70% and 90% said yes. So I think you were a bit unlucky with just having that initial call at the beginning, that you were quoted so
Yeah.
much for this. You can, of course, in Spenguru, you can find some recommended lawyers and paralegals who are experienced with this procedure, and they won't charge you as much.
But I did not know you had lawyers in your list. I did not do that homework. This one I Googled and found myself.
You can find it on Spainguru.es, and of course, as I said, I encourage you to shop around. Ask them all how much they're gonna charge you, what do they include in their services, and consider doing it yourself. Just like everyone, but have all your possibilities on the table and then decide with information. How did you prepare for the move to Spain once your visa was approved?
Oh, that's a great question. Because I got my visa so fast, mentally I wasn't ready. Job wise, my last day I still had 2 months left, which was good and bad both. So, but at least I knew I got it. So peace of mind, no more paperwork. And then looking for a place to stay, booking my ticket to get here. How am I gonna do it? Then typical traveler stuff, packaging, what to take, what not to take. I also saw a lot of Facebook groups. Electronics, especially, not worth it. Don't bring it. People are right. Buy everything here because of the voltage difference. Typical, like, you're moving here. So how much do you bring? What do you bring? What can you not find here? That's what I started focusing on, and looking for a place to stay. Summer timing, peak timing, it was harder to find a place, even though I had made some friends. I reached out through them, local friends who tried to pass me forward, but summertime, not good. So in the end, I overpaid and I went through Airbnb. For also where people were saying, it is peak summer, it is going to be expensive. So it kind of confirmed, I know I'm overpaying, but it's temporary, it's fine.
How has living in Spain under the Non Lucrative Visa met or differed from your expectations?
So far, so good. I have my Thai appointment at the police station on Thursday this week. That's going to be
So how far away are you from entry to Spain to your TA appointment?
1 month and 4 days.
All right, so you are over the official 30 days.
I am. And originally I was panicking, but I don't. At the same time, I see so many posts and people saying, relax.
Exactly, chill.
If the appointment is not available, it's not my fault. So
correct.
Yes.
All right, so you still have to get your TA, right?
Yes, which I'm nervous about because I'm not sure what all to take with me, what all is needed. So that's the only part I'm nervous.
Have you already asked if they're gonna need an empadronamiento or
No,
padrón?
what is that? No, what's that?
Well, that's the registration at the city hall. Okay, so in order to get your TIE, you need to show proof of address. Okay, the most important proof of address in Spain is empadronamiento or certificado de empadronamiento. That proves that you are living in a certain place. But really, the rules don't say that it has to be an empadronamiento to prove your address. It can be something else. It could be your Airbnb receipt. But maybe only the biggest police stations know this. If you go to a small police station, that sometimes you have to do because you get an appointment at a small police station, they don't know that and they will ask you the empadronamiento. But that is being a bit too strict, because really the rule says proof of address, not a certificado de empadronamiento. But what advice would you give to someone just starting to consider applying for the non-lucrative visa?
Go to your website, go to Facebook, join your groups, go to your links, read. You give a lot of options. There's even your YouTube videos. I watched that one, the complete one that gave step by step. Some areas didn't apply to me, no problem. Resources, and people in your group are really nice. People moving from all over the world. I know there's a lot more British or Europeans, so their answers and their experience is different than the Americans. So you just have to be careful and look for which country people are commenting from, so you take that advice, not the other advice, because it doesn't apply to you. But yes, I feel like your Facebook group is amazing. That's where I can support you completely. I've posted on there too. I was open enough to ask a lot of questions. I've also replied to some now that I've been there and I've accomplished it. But yes, that was the most amazing thing for me. Your resources there. And then of course your checklist with all the links.
Fantastic. I will be sharing them right here so you can access them. Oh, and one more thing. Apparently YouTube says you're gonna love watching this video right here. I think you should watch it